Hi guys! Mini Tidy Sticky Mama here, and it's time for another check-in on the 8-week KonMari tidying challenge. This week, like I said before, was paper, which is my least favorite category to do. So, I don't have a lot to say about it. Let's just get to it. The roundup went pretty quickly, but even as tidy as I usually keep it, paper just gets everywhere. Now you'll see I'm kind of picking around, and this counter is a dumpster fire. But anyway, I'm kind of picking around because there's papers up there that are not mine, and those are not for me to tidy. You can't really tidy someone else's things because you don't know how they feel about it. It's up to them to joy check it, not you. So if you've got a plopper in your house, make sure they take care of their own stuff, or put it in a nice basket for them so it stays out of your way while they take care of it. I went right into sorting them out by category as soon as I had gathered everything up. I didn't end up with a terribly large pile to start with because most of the papers in the house are my husband's, and those are his problem, not mine. Well, they're my problem because they annoy me, but they're his job to deal with. I also started my discard pile right away because I knew the first time I touched some things that they just were not going to make the cut, so there was no point in me sorting them into a category besides the get out of here one. Day 24 was for joy checking receipts and coupons and the weird pieces of paper, and I even found some paint samples and seed packets in my one box of things, so I guess it really was time for me to go through some stuff, because I haven't needed any of those things since at least March, so yeah. One of my favorite things to do with business cards in particular is to line them up and then take a picture of it. That way you get to keep the information on the card without having to hold on to the card itself. I made an album in my Google Photos specifically for business cards so that I have easy access to them even if I'm on the go. Day 25 is probably the most joyless of all the paper days because it's going through just all your files, your tax info, your legal documents, all of that stuff that probably doesn't spark a whole lot of joy for most people. But I sorted it out into things that we needed to hold on to versus things that were still currently pending, and then I went through my file box to look at the things that had already been filed away to make sure I wasn't holding on to anything extra versus the things that I had in the pile of papers that were laying around the house. I also took the opportunity to put the papers in the found pile away in their proper file folders so that I didn't have to do it later. I love my little file box though. It's so cute and it's got a lot more space in it if we do end up keeping more papers for some reason. But I picked it up at Aldi's a couple of years ago, and it has matching file folders inside, and I just love it. It's so cute, and I'm so glad I have it. It was a great deal too, so I recommend once you're done, you find yourself a file box that sparks joy for you too. Because, I mean, nobody likes those clunky metal file cabinets from the 90s, right? Plus, when you're done with this, you probably don't need that much space for your papers. Wouldn't it be great to have that space for something else? Day 26, which is basically an information day, was a little bit tricky for me, not because of volume, but because of the specific contents. And while the manuals and warranties, I'm typically pretty good about making sure we get rid of those whenever we get rid of the thing they go to, I struggle with the fact that I know I can find most of them online, and I don't need to keep the paper, but then there's ones like the one for the Instant Pot and the rice cooker that have specific instructions or like recipes in them, and I feel like I should keep it, you know? I included my oldest school stuff from this last year in the lecture notes category. I don't tend to get very sentimental about school stuff unless it's something that really shines their personality through, and a lot of the worksheets, frankly, don't, so they can go. I do check in with her before I throw away any of her school papers though, because it is technically hers and not mine. So it wouldn't be fair of me to throw things away that she wants to keep. I usually have her go through her cubby every so often and clear the papers out of it, and then I'll go through her discard pile in case there is anything that I particularly want, but today we're doing that the other way around. It kind of just started to pile up on us when we started the remote learning thing after the schools closed in, the middle of March. And normally we're pretty good about filtering through it at the end of the school day. She'll empty her folder into her little cubby that hangs on the wall, or I've used a standing magazine file in the past too. And then from there we just kind of filter through it as after every break and stuff like that, but everything just kind of went to hell after the remote learning started, and we're still catching up. The last thing I sorted through was my magazine clippings and my own stash of lecture notes from when I went to university and got my degrees. And I have a really hard time letting go of those because I just loved my university experience so much that these are almost a sentimental artifact for me. But at the same time, at least when it comes to the horticulture stuff, I do reference it fairly frequently. Even if somebody just texts me and is like, hey, my plant's doing this thing, what do I do? I'll sometimes bust out my notes if I don't know the answer right off the bat. So it's almost like keeping a practical use book rather than just another pile of paper for me. The ones I saved from my physics degree, though, those are another ball of wax, and those are probably more sentimental than anything because, I worked so hard for that degree, and it was something that I wanted for a very long time, but by the end of it, I didn't even like it anymore. I kind of hated the atmosphere of the classes, and I don't even know if I ever want to work in the field at this point, so I really should probably just let them go, but I'm not ready. Day 28, the last day of week 4, and my eternal favorite, time to put things away. And of course, you know me, I need one last round of organizing before I'm good to go. The focus for today is the pending box. Now this is mine for my need it now things, the things that need my attention immediately. It sits right in full view on the kitchen counter, so I'm sure to pay attention to it. Our longer term storage is split between the fridge for our takeout menus, my cubby on the wall for short term keepers, and then the long term things go back in the closet in the hallway. So how's your challenge going? Let me know in the comments down below how things are going for you. And be sure to hit that subscribe button so you can stay with me for the next 4 weeks. Can you believe we're halfway done already? It's just flying by, isn't it? Our houses will be tidy in no time. Stick around because I'm going to pop out a video for what's in store for us in week 5 soon. And you don't want to miss that. Bye guys. See you next time. Bye guys. See you next time.
That's for our bonus line.
Yeah, you don't use that controller though. I'll be out in a minute, okay?
You have a bonus one.
You have a bonus one.
Yes!
They're so cute, aren't they?